Hey, welcome. So when you hear the letters HR, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Paperwork? Company policies? Yeah, probably a little bit of both. But what if I told you that HR is actually the team that architects your entire journey with a company? Seriously. From the moment they decide they need someone just like you, to the day you're celebrated as a top performer, HR is right there, guiding the way. Let's dig into how they do it. So, what does HR really do? Beyond the paperwork? Well, as it turns out, their role is way more strategic than most of us give them credit for. In fact, you could say they are absolutely central to a company's success. I just love this way of thinking about it because it hits the nail on the head. Think of HR as the architects. They're not just managing human resources like their office supplies. No, they are designing the entire environment where a company's most valuable asset, that's right, its people, can really grow and succeed. To really wrap our heads around this, we're going to break HR down into 5 core functions. And as you'll see, this isn't just some boring list. It's actually the story of every single employee's journey. And here it is, our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to follow this employee journey through 5 key stages: planning, then recruitment, on to training, appraisal, and finally, compensation. So let's begin right where every journey starts, with a plan. All right, this first part of the journey is all about finding the right people to bring onto the team. So before a company can even think about hiring you, a ton of strategic work has to happen behind the scenes. And it all starts with planning. You can think of this as the blueprint phase. This is where HR gets together with company leaders and asks the really big questions. Where is this company headed, and who do we need on board to get there? They're essentially trying to predict the future of the entire workforce. Now, once that plan is in place, recruitment can begin. And getting this part right is absolutely critical. I mean, a great hire can totally transform a team, right? But a bad one, oof, that can be incredibly costly. So this is so much more than just posting a job ad online. It's about attracting the best candidates, screening them super carefully, and finding that perfect fit for both the job and the company culture. Okay, this slide breaks down a really important distinction in recruitment. Over on the left, the job description tells you what the job is, the tasks, the responsibilities. But on the right, the job specification describes who the ideal person is, the skills, the experience they need to have. It's a simple but vital difference. One describes the work, the other describes the worker. Okay, so you've been hired. The plan worked, the recruitment was a success, and you're officially in. But of course, the journey doesn't just stop there, not even close. Let's move on to how HR helps develop all that talent. Next up is training. And this is where a company truly invests in its people. And it's not just about getting better at the job you have right now. It's about building the skills that are going to launch you to the next stage of your career. But why do companies pour so much time and money into this? I mean, what's the real payoff of a solid training program, not just for the employee, but for the business itself? Well, the benefits are huge on both sides. As an employee, you get new skills and get ready for that next promotion. And for the company, that translates directly into better performance and higher productivity. It's a classic win-win situation that keeps everyone motivated and growing. Working hand-in-hand with training is the appraisal, or what most of us call a performance review, but it's so much more than just getting a grade. A grade appraisal is a real two-way conversation that's all about celebrating what you've achieved, getting clear feedback, and mapping out a path for your future growth. And that brings us to such a crucial part of the journey, valuing your contribution. After all the planning, all the training, and all that hard work, how does a company actually recognize your impact? Well, the main answer is compensation, but it's really important to see this as more than just a paycheck. It's the whole package. Your salary, sure, but also bonuses, benefits, and any other perks. All of it is the company's way of saying, hey, we value the work you do. Okay, let's zoom out for a second and see how all of this fits together. Because these 5 functions aren't just separate items on a to-do list, they're all part of one continuous interconnected cycle. And this really brings the whole story together, doesn't it? From the very first step of planning a new role all the way to rewarding great performance, HR is there, guiding the entire employee lifecycle. You can really see how one stage flows right into the next. Good planning makes for better recruitment, which leads to great training, which is then measured by appraisals and finally recognized through compensation. It's just this really powerful, continuous cycle. And that brings us to our final thought for today. As the world of work keeps changing, With AI, remote teams, and totally new employee expectations, these 5 core functions will probably stay the same. But how they're done, that's going to evolve for sure. So the question I want to leave you with is this: how will the role of HR, these architects of the employee journey, change in the future?